Chef Stephanie Paganini here for Shelf to Chef. Today we are going to be using our tart pan kit. A tart pan is this lovely fluted cake pan that has a removable bottom. What's great about a tart pan is that you can bake a sweet tart like a lemon curd or pastry cream tart, but you can also make a savory tart. Now, I am a child of the 80s. What we called savory tarts were quiche. Nowadays, they just call them savory tart, but I want to bring back the quiche terminology. So we will be making an amazing ham and cheese and asparagus quiche for you today. So to start out with, what dough you use in your tart pan makes a difference. We're going to be making a savory tart dough, which many of you might see and think is very familiar to a pie dough. So to get started, we have our all-purpose flour, which we are going to, you can mix in a bowl, but I wanted to show you the method. So I'm gonna actually mix it right on the counter and make a nice big mess in my kitchen, but you don't have to. You can do this in a bowl. So I've got my 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and we want to mix into this flour our salt and sugar. It's a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of granulated sugar. I put them together into one bowl so that I have one less dish to wash. But in here, we're going to add our butter. Most recipes tell you to take your stick of butter, chop it into tiny little pieces, and put it into the refrigerator to chill up again. Here's what I do. I take a very cold stick of butter and I use a box grater and I grate it right onto the flour so that I don't have to take that extra time and wait for it to re-chill again. It's fast, it makes the perfect tiny little pieces, and I can make my dough and get that into the refrigerator to chill. Anything that gets me to quiche faster is a win in my book. So to get started, we're gonna take our very cold butter and we're going to grate our butter right over that pile of flour. Again, you can do this in your bowl. I'm going to be doing it right on the counter. When asked about what kind of butter to use, some people say, why are you adding salt to a recipe? Why not just use salted butter? Here's my reasoning. Salted butter has salt in it, right? Which allows your manufacturer of butter to keep that butter longer. So that butter could potentially be an older butter sitting on your supermarket shelf. Also, salt allows you to put more moisture into your recipe. So salted butter can also have more water in it. So you are paying for an older, watered down butter. Unsalted butter is going to be fresher, and I don't mind adding that 1/2 teaspoon of salt in myself to make sure that I'm getting maximum butter in my recipe. All right, so I've got the butter about as close as I'm going to get without taking my fingers off. I'm going to get all of this delicious butter out of here, break up this last little piece with my fingers, and then using my fingertips, I'm going to slowly encase each little piece of butter with flour. Use your fingertips because the palm of your hand is going to be the hottest part of your hand, and you want to prevent the melting of this butter. So we're going to use our chillier fingertips as we mix it together. Once every little piece of butter has been coated in flour, we're going to start adding a little bit of ice water, just 1 to 2 tablespoons total, and only as much as we need to bring this dough together. We are creating what's called short chains, meaning that we are not making very long gluten chains, we're making very short gluten chains, which gives us a nice flaky dough, just like a pie dough. And if the use of hands feels kind of yucky to you, by all means you can use a spoon or you can use a liquid measuring cup and just pour it over as you see fit. And once I have all of these little pockets of flaky flour, then I'm going to start working them together into one big piece. This is where I start bringing the palm of my hand in. This is also a great thing to do with kids because they will love getting their hands dirty, and you will love that their hand strength is less so you won't get overworked dough. All right, so here is our dough. it is put together. You see it's still kind of flaky. It's not smooth. That's not what we want. We're going to take it. We're going to move it over here to our plastic wrap. And we are going to wrap it up. And then this will go into the refrigerator for a 30-minute nap before we roll it out and put it in our tart pan. Welcome back. We are taking our savory pie-like tart dough and we're now going to put it in our tart pan. When we talk about baking tart dough, there are 3 ways of baking tart dough. You have baking it raw, right? So you've got the raw dough, you put the raw ingredients that are your tart filling into it, and that whole raw thing goes into the oven to bake together. You have the middle of the road tart baking, which is called partial baking. It's shortened down to par baking. That's where you're partially baking that tart dough, giving it a head start, then adding your filling and then putting it back into the oven for that tart dough to finish baking and for those fillings to start and finish baking. And then you have the last baking method for tart dough, which is called blind baking, which means you're taking that tart dough, baking it from start to finish. It's going to be empty the whole time it's baking, and it's called blind baking because it doesn't know what's going in it until the end. And that's something that is often done for sweet fillings, because you'll make your sweet filling and add it to that blind baked tart dough at the end. For today's quiche, we're doing the middle, the partial or par baking technique. So I have my chilled dough. I'm going to roll it out. I'm using a parchment paper so that I can limit the amount of extra flour I'm using in my rolling out so that I don't have too much flour. The more flour I use, the tougher this dough becomes. All right, we have this beautiful dough. What I love to look at, and I don't know if you guys can see it, is all of these little pieces of butter in here. That means it's going to be nice and flaky because we have those short chains of gluten. Just the tiniest amount of flour down on the surface. And then we are going to use our rolling pin. This is a French rolling pin. Notice it's flat, all one size. There aren't the handles, and it's not very heavy because I don't want to push down on this dough and overwork it. Nice and gentle technique. And your best bet is to roll from the center out, But if you forget and roll back and forth a few times, the police aren't going to come and arrest you for it. What I love about tart dough is its versatility. See how here I have this spot and you're like, that person's going to be pretty disappointed when you cut their piece. But dough is like Play-Doh. I can take a piece and I can glue it in over here, and Uncle John is none the wiser. My dough is starting to stick a little bit on top, so I am going to put just the tiniest coating of flour. And when I'm looking for what size I want to ultimately roll this dough out for, we made the right amount of dough for the size pan that we have. And you can see this is the bottom, but I need it to go up the sides. So you want it about 1 inch to 1.25 inches all the way around so that when I put it in the pan, it will go up the sides of the pan. We're almost there. I'm feeling it with my hand to make sure that it isn't thicker in one spot and thinner in another. And if it is, I'm just adjusting that. All right, so we have this beautiful butter marbled dough that we're now going to put into our pan. If you don't mind making a mess in your kitchen, you can lift your whole tart pan with parchment paper up. You can flip it upside down right onto your pan. And from there, you can gently tuck your layers in. We don't want to push them in because we don't want to stretch or pull our dough. And we don't want to leave them without tucking them because then you lose that corner or crust area. Again, if I have a spot that's missing dough, just like Play-Doh, I can cut a piece off and place it there so that we've got a nice even crust. I'm going to take my rolling pin, roll it across the top, which gives me the ability to then make a nice clean edge for my dough. Any little pieces that are stuck on the outside of your tart dough pan is going to make it very difficult to unpan this in a nice clean way. So you're going to want to do just a couple minutes to make sure that your edges are nice and crisp. There is our dough in the pan. We have to do a couple things to prep it to get ready to partially bake it. The first thing we want to do is something called docking the dough. So we're going to take a fork and we're going to poke our dough. Because we're putting a liquid in here in the future, we don't want to dock all the way down or put holes all the way down to the bottom of the pan. So only about halfway down the dough, so very gentle touch. Why are we docking our dough? This helps steam to release from our dough so it'll get puffy dough. We want our dough to stay nice and flat and crisp. And again, just halfway down the dough to release the steam, because we don't want all of our delicious quiche filling to go spilling out in the bottom of the oven while it's baking. The last thing we're going to do is use something that's coming in your kit, which are these pie weights. The pie weights are there to help you. They're there to weigh this dough down again so it doesn't get puffy, but also to keep the sides from shrinking too much so you can get maximum quiche filling in there. The one thing I like to do, and this is great for kids, hand them a sheet of parchment paper and tell them to crumple it up. I'm about to make a lot of noise. Best part. And then tell them not to throw the ball, but to hand it back to you gently. And then when you open it up, it'll fit better in your tart pan than trying to use a flat piece of parchment. So in it goes. If you want, you can spray it with cooking spray to keep it from sticking to your dough, or brush a little olive oil on there. In go your pie weights. If you don't have pie weights, you can certainly use beans, but we included the pie weights in the kit. I'm putting them more on the edges to keep my edges nice and high. And then this whole thing goes into the oven. Again, we're baking it partially way. So I'm going to keep an eye on my dough, and when it's just starting to turn a light golden brown, we'll take it out of the oven and put the quiche filling onto it, and back in the oven it goes. I can already smell the deliciousness of this dough. Let's take this tart pan out. When you go to take a tart pan out of the oven, you want to make sure you're supporting the edge and the bottom, because remember that bottom is removable and you don't want to accidentally pop it out of the pan before you're ready to. All right, so we're taking our par-baked tart shell. To that, we've sprinkled on a little bit of shredded cheddar cheese, and you can use any cheese that you like. We've also added some baked ham from the deli and some roasted asparagus. Any ingredients you want to put in there, you can, because a quiche is basically an omelet in a tart crust. In this bowl, we are mixing together 3 eggs, about a cup to a cup and a half of heavy whipping cream. To this, we're going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And if you want to add some dry spices or paprika, feel free. You can make this any way you like. Once it's all mixed up, we're going to carefully pour this into our tart shell so that we basically can glue our ingredients to our tart dough. Then this whole thing goes into the oven. We're going to bake it until the cheese gets a nice golden on top and it's no longer jiggly. So we've got our quiche coming out of the oven. You can see how that egg has puffed up. It'll go down a little bit as it cools, but you can see the peak of ham and asparagus and the cheese and that beautiful golden crust that was given that partial bake or that par bake, so it gets a nice golden color and is baked through at the same time the filling is. So here we have our finished quiche. Ideally, you're going to wait and let it cool down just a little bit. I'm going to get it nice and hot out of the oven and cut a slice for you to try. The first slice is always the hardest. When we do food styling, we usually cut the first slice out, we eat it, and then the second slice is the beauty slice. But I work at the library and everybody wants a piece, so we're using it from the beginning. There is your beautiful slice of quiche. Remember, this has ham and asparagus and shredded cheddar with a little bit of heavy cream. If you want to make this, you can, just by checking out the Tart Pan Shelf to Chef kit here at Mentor Public Library. Bon appetit!